at University of Delhi of हिंदी लिटरेचर और इसी के साथ आप सभी का मैं ग्रेजुएट स्कॉलर्स टॉक सीरीज पर बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूँ. What began as a modest effort to create a space for dialogue, ideas, and intellectual exchange has today grown into a remarkable journey of more than 270 talks and conversations, and each adding a new layer of insight, depth, and collective learning. As the moderator, it is my honor to open today's gathering and acknowledge the efforts of all the speakers, participants, and supporters who have made this journey possible. And the GSTS Talk series returns with the same spirit that has always guided it, rooted in tradition yet open to fresh ideas. This series celebrates the conversations, reflections, and collaborations that have long shaped the creative and intellectual identity of the GSTS community. Created to honor a shared legacy, and the talk series welcomes scholars, educators, and thinkers whose insights continue to enrich our platform. And as they share their ideas, their voices contribute to a larger journey of learning, continuity, and collective growth. कोविड काल की कठिन परिस्थितियों के बीच 7 फरवरी 2021 को डॉक्टर मनीष करवार ने श्यामलाल कॉलेज इवनिंग की इतिहास सोसाइटी साक्ष्य के साथ मिलकर इस पहल की शुरुआत की थी और इस श्रृंखला ने अभी तक 270 से ज्यादा टॉक्स पूरी की हैं और इसका उद्देश्य था विभिन्न मुद्दों पर संवाद और ज्ञान विनिमय के लिए एक खुला, लोकतांत्रिक और सभी के लिए उपलब्ध मंच तैयार करना. देश के अलग-अलग क्षेत्रों से जुड़े वक्ताओं ने अपनी उपस्थिति, अनुभव और विचारों से इस मंच को लगातार समृद्ध किया है. उनके योगदान ने विद्यार्थियों के ज्ञान को विस्तृत करने के साथ-साथ महत्वपूर्ण विषयों पर बहुआयामी सोच को भी प्रोत्साहित किया है. इन्हीं प्रयासों के परिणाम स्वरूप पिछले 5 वर्षों में जीएसटीएस ने 270 से भी ज्यादा वार्ताओं का उल्लेखनीय पड़ाव सफलतापूर्वक पार किया है, जो इसके सतत विकास और स्वीकार्यता का स्पष्ट प्रमाण है. And it also gives me immense pleasure to acknowledge the remarkable achievements of this initiative. Over the years, it has been honored thrice by Doordarshan and has also received recognition in the Times of India under the G20 Changemaker Summit. One of our sessions was broadcast live internationally, further amplifying the reach and impact of our work. Alongside these recognitions, we have also forged meaningful collaborations with educators and academic institutions across the country. And these accomplishments stand as a strong testimony to the dedication, vision, and consistent effort of the GSTS team. And the team comprises of the founder and advisor, Dr. Manish Kanwar, sir, of course, and the moderators, Mr. Ajay, Mr. Shubham Tiwari, Mr. Saurabh Singh, Ms. Manvi Saraswat, Ms. Samriddhi Kanpal, Mr. Manthan Turle, Ms. Srishti Rajput, and Mr. Ankit Kumar, whose contributions have been essential to the growth and success of this initiative. Now, when I have elaborated a lot about what Graduate Scholars Talk Series is, it is time to welcome our today's guest of honor. So we warmly welcome Dr. Ajay Pratap Singh, sir, as the guest of honor for this
Thank you. Thank you.
274th session, sir. आपका बहुत-बहुत स्वागत है. And before I invite you for your uh, initial remarks and for your permission for proceeding the session further, I would like to introduce you to today's audience. So, Dr. Ajay Pratap Singh, sir, is an academic researcher in Eurasian geopolitics, regional security, and international relations theory. He completed his PhD and an MPhil from GNU and holds an MA in international relations from South Asian University. He is a Don Lavi non-residential fellow at George Mason University and was a visiting fellow in Taiwan as well. And he has represented India at international forums, including Asian India Youth Forum and World Youth Festival. He has presented papers at major conferences in the USA, UK, Singapore, and Taiwan. And currently, he teaches as guest faculty at Kalindi College, University of Delhi. Sir, we really, really welcomes you to our platform that is Graduate Scholars Talk Series once again. And now I would like to request you to grant us your permission to proceed the session further with, of course, some of your quick initial remarks. Please, sir.
First of all, allow me to thank you for your generous words, Shailendra. Thank you, Dr. Manish sir, we call him Manish sir, for inviting me over. I mean, I've been hearing of this initiative every time I visit your office, every time I visit you. I've been hearing about this from a lot of other people, right, in my own college, right? So I never thought that one random morning I'll get a WhatsApp message and that, Ajay will be the guest of honor for the day or guest speaker, whatever it is. So it's a real honor, right? And allow me to congratulate Manish sir and the entire team, right? Imagine it's 274th. I mean, if I may call it an episode or a version, whatever. So it's 274th. This one is 274th. It's very easy to sometimes conceptualize an idea, but to able to materialize it and to be able, and more so to be able to continue this for more than 5 years, uh, unfazed, undeterred, right? It's something commendable. A lot of us come up with a lot of fancy ideas, but they dry down, right, over time, right? So, I mean, his team, a lot of them, maybe I've met them whenever I visit their office. I don't know them personally, but I've seen their faces. I know some of you are, I get to see you around, right? So commendable job, right? You people have burnt candle at both the ends to ensure that we reach to this 274th edition. So many congratulations for that. And once again, it's an absolute honor to be on this platform, right? And let's just go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And we are also, waiting for your final remarks as well. Once the speaker will be done with her today's talk. All right, so now I'm welcoming, inviting, and handing over the screen to Miss Mandira Paul. She's a postgraduate scholar from Indira Gandhi National Open University. And since our reconnection week is going on, so she has been reconnecting once again after her um, GSTS 42. And I still remember that GSTS 42 was the first GSTS which I joined, being the graduate scholar at Shamdal College Evening for the very first time. So after 28th of November 2021, she has been reconnecting with us today once again, and she has also been creative head of History Society SAK. She has also been vice president of History Society SAK of Shamlal College Evening. And today the topic she would be addressing is negotiating discipline and nurturing freedom. Now I'm handing over the screen over to you, Miss Mandra.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, so I can start. Okay. So, a very humble good evening to the respected guest of honor, the teachers, and the fellow participants. My name is Mandira Paul, and I have graduated from Shamlal College Evening and currently pursuing my master's in history from IGNOU. At first, I would like to thank Manish sir and this GSTS platform, which again let me reconnect with this platform again. Last time, my topic was like the journey of Calcutta to Kolkata, which was based on fact and figures. But this time, I chose some different approach, not fact and figures, but academic phases with eyes of discipline and freedom. With this, I would like to draw all of your kind attention towards my topic, negotiating discipline and nurturing freedom, with some basic objectives like first, discipline from primary institution, that is school. Discipline became self-control and self-monitor. And next, how UPSC became discipline and freedom both, and the last objective would be discipline with an open learning institution. So before starting the talk, I just remember the day in my school जहाँ पे thought of the day में सबसे पहले मैंने सुना था प्रतिदिन का छोटा अनुशासन भविष्य की बड़ी सफलता बनता है. Indeed. सो ये सुनकर मैंने अपने लिए एक चेकलिस्ट बनाया था और जिसमें मैंने अपने चेकलिस्ट में बहुत सारी चीजें लिखी थी कि इस एज तक मुझे ये कंप्लीट करना है, इस एज तक मुझे ये बन जाना है या ऐसे करना है वैसे करना है, ये चाहिए वो चाहिए, समहाउ वो लिस्ट कहीं ना कहीं मुझे पूरी होते हुए दिखी, लेकिन एक जगह पे आके वो रुक गई. It gets stagnant somewhere, and that time the list questions me why you stopped, why it's not completing anymore, why it's not working. And then I heard that somewhere the thing comes from like the freedom is overpowering the discipline. So before describing discipline, this is not like the motivational speaking anything कि आपको मैं यहाँ पे discipline का मतलब ये नहीं बताऊंगी कि 5 बजे उठो और फिर पढ़ने बैठ जाओ या exercise कर लो. No, no, I'm not talking about that. I am talking about the controlled monitoring. Here, discipline which come from the primary institution, controlled monitoring or as controlled surveillance. Since the academic race has started, I heard on your mark, get set, and go. So for me, on your mark is the primary discipline. Get set became the self monitoring and self control, and go became the long runway of freedom. When the book described discipline as the ability to regulate one's action, thoughts, and habits in order to achieve certain goals or follows principles, which involve self control, consistency, and responsibility, even when doing something is difficult or unpleasant, and often associated with obeying. This discipline we started to learn from our early days of learning, by either by with our parents or the schooling. Either we learn discipline either in a punitive discipline, which is punishment, or a progressive discipline, which is correcting the wrong deeds of your behavior. But so far, I learned discipline is not only obeying the orders, but for me, it's a structured framework which comes with specific set of routines, rules, code of conduct, and positive human behavior to become a better person. It worked as a way of life, not obeying anything blindly without knowing its intention or purpose. As we often heard the term that Hinduism is not a religion, but it's a way of life, I see discipline as a way of my life. Because school is the place from where we start to build ourselves for our future. So, as a student, it becomes the basic duty to follow certain rules, behaving certain way, maintaining yourself, the routine, the studies, which later became as a holistic approach for our personality. And I like this structured framework as a phase of controlled guidance with regulating my academic life so well, because it teaches us to be accountable, punctual, and self-determined. हम अक्सर स्कूल में हमें पीटीएम पे बुलाया जाता है एंड दे गिव अस अ नोट ऑफ हाउ द स्टूडेंट इज वर्किंग विद ऑल हर एकेडमिक थिंग्स, इवन विद द अदर एक्टिविटीज और एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलम एक्टिविटीज. So I saw this controlled and structured framework as a bubble which is protecting my academic spheres. The first shift I saw when I saw the bubble started shifting slowly, I entered to my new academic phase, that is college. So school में I used to hear a lot from teacher कि अभी तो बंदिशें हैं, तुम लोगों को अच्छी नहीं लगती है, जब कॉलेज में जाओगे वो बंदिशें टूटेंगी, आप आजाद पंछी की तरह फिर से घूमोगे, उड़ोगे, which seems little true. बट इसी समय पे कोरोना भी साथ आया तो शायद वो बंदिश सच्ची में बंदिश ही रह गई फिर से. लेकिन the shift which I imagine or which I am thinking of, these things would be changed, but the whole scenario changed, and the shift that whole classroom learning changed into a online learning. At least for the 1.5 years of my initial college days, I was stuck in this room with this handset and having a one, like just a simple online conversation with my professor. And here I am discussing my academics. But here comes the challenge. Sometimes it's the network is not working. Even maybe I am using that freedom to and negotiating the discipline in myself. I am not working well. And I got a chance to negotiate with my discipline, as now I am not answerable to anymore, answerable to nothing. And the work assigned to me, it seems very easy and flexible due to this online platform, because I can go up to Google, just put a question and get all the answers. But the online study to classroom, again, somehow the breached system somehow again fixed for me. The bubble of discipline comes with some supporting pillars like freedom and independence, self monitoring, and a chance to explore myself with some experiments. While the school provided a structured schedules and a close supervision, here I have to manage by myself. Like, let a man rise himself by himself, let him not lower himself. The focus shift from merely following instruction to develop critical thinking, personal interest, and individual responsibility. And here I learned that freedom and accountability must go hand in hand, not overpowering each other. But entering to the next phase, I found myself very conflicting, confused, and the list I mentioned earlier, this is the point where it started getting stopped or stagnant. Because after the college, I happened to see that some of my known peers, they already started into getting jobs, started earning. And here comes the question, what did I learn from all those years? From the controlled guidance to the freedom of little self guidance. What? So here I come with the next phase. From here, the long run has started. The journey is full of adventure and challenges. I started preparing for UPSC, a government exam in a private coaching. It marks a significant shift towards self directed discipline, unlike the school and college. No fixed timetable, no regular monitoring, and no immediate rewards. Creating own schedules, motivating myself over a period of time, and managing setbacks independently. Here, the discipline became internalized, driven by purpose, perseverance, and a long term commitment. A shift from degree oriented study to competitive study, which gives uncertainty along with stress, anxiety, self doubt, and a lot of competitors with me every day. Challenges are like dealing with people, knowing everybody is different, be it's young, be it's older, be it's junior, senior, different culture, different background, different ideology. And they the phase give the freedom for analytical thinking, awareness, develop patience, resilience, emotional maturity, and a deeper understanding of my strength and limitations. But I feel because of this freedom I have, my integration of discipline somehow gets breached because the limitation often get avoided due to the lack of discipline. But whenever the restless and unsteady mind wanders, one should bring it back and place it under the control of the self. This thing I have learned from my UPSC experience of and it's tend to improve a lot of things along with my social skills, though I am not with some social skills because I am a very socially awkward person. But somehow coaching seems to change me little. Thinking ability without any having biasness, because makes a apolitical view or a neutral viewpoint. Gave a purpose to question and reason. This phase seemed quite exhausting and stagnant, but the freedom of discipline make the exhaustion into opportunity and let me dive it into again. But nowadays, competitive exam, it's indeed itself a challenge for itself because अक्सर सुनते हैं पेपर से पहले पेपर आउट हो गया है and it somehow put a question on the discipline of the academic system and question where the value is. Though the race still continued, I'm still preparing for UPSC. I have already given my attempts twice in 2025 and 2026. 2025 is while I'm already taking my coaching and gave my exam, and 2026 where I took a year for again, I stopped going coaching and took a year to prepare again and to give exam, where I learned that this exam it's needs consistency and where the discipline works. Though the race still continued, and comes the next phase of choosing masters from a open learning institution, which requires high self-discipline, which gives super flexibility but no supervision, only assignment and exam only once a year. No face-to-face interaction and peer discussion, which was not convenient at all, and that were which was earlier not happening with any school, college, and coaching of my academic phase. It is completely new. And even I got to know about that you even don't have to do the assignment by yourself. You can buy it from people and you can submit it there. And not even you don't even have to submit, they take the responsibility of submitting this. These flexibility schedules often leads to procrastination and distraction. The sense of continuity was reduced. This is the time when I miss the traditional classroom learning. Complete directed learning, identifying resources, set goal, evaluating my oneself. It became quite challenging to motivate yourself and to be disciplined. A major shift of self regulation and intrinsic motivation. Here, discipline is no longer about compliance with external rules, but about personal accountability, and the flexibility gives opportunity to learn new things. Like I'm still preparing for my UPSC while pursuing my master's without having the hassles of every day attending the college. But so the freedom is there, but for me, the freedom is not only I can do this whenever I want or whatever I want. Freedom is for me is thinking rationally and mindfully, even to listen others and to resonate between them without any external force. And I think it comes from discipline. The shifts in every phase is challenging, but with some positive attribute. When the first shift changed with the adapting to new learning methods, because first it was controlled, there is a specific set of syllabus, there is specific set of chapters. They have mentioned these are the question are going to come. It's get easy to deal with. But the second phase, when it comes to college, where you are given a syllabus, but you should have an analytical behavior of yours because you have to find the answer by yourself. So it is a new way of new phase that comes suddenly. There is ample of resource, you have just go through and check it. And suddenly when the situation like corona also started, even that smooth phase, if I would say कि अगर वो smooth phase भी होता, but corona के वजह से फिर एक online barrier आ गया, फिर से नया दोबारा शुरू करना पड़ा. It's quite very difficult to sometimes adapt some new learning methods as well. But I think nowadays new education policy has some kind of certain positive behavior to this, where they already making they are ensuring that कि बच्चों को पहले से इस adaptation के बारे में पता होना चाहिए कि ऐसे काम चल रहा है, और देर आर वुड बी सम न्यू थिंग कि आपको भी रिसर्चेस करने हैं, आपको भी वर्क फील्ड में जाना है, देखना है फील्ड वर्क इस तरीके से. Managing my stress and expectation, it is became a very challenging part of while preparing some control. We are having some syllabus, then suddenly comes like syllabus like UPSC syllabus, where it's too vast, you just don't know where to start and where to stop. It just seems like an ocean. It's like never ending kind of thing. But building confidence in unfamiliar environment. Again, school gives you some controlled and some fixed people to talk on. As if I talk about myself, I used to go to a school which surrounded with my cultural people. And suddenly when I come across to college, the things I used to enjoy there, this seems very absent in this genre. And suddenly you comes to UPSC, there is a confluence of different people with different notion and everything. And then suddenly comes to that open learning where you can't even see any, where you don't know anybody, not even the professor properly. So it seems that unfamiliar environment also comes with some kind of challenges with some positive attribute, I would say. It also developed critical thinking and problem solving. Staying consistent despite setback. Yes, setbacks is definitely there, and being consistent is also important here. So it became a shift from guided learning to increasing self-direct learning. And this shift continued to help in that race. And discipline can never be negotiating with freedom. Both complement each other and supports each other, because the uncontrolled mind leads to bondage and the controlled mind leads to freedom. I wouldn't say that सब में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है या कुछ नहीं है, or is all these phases are very needed or not. I come across through these phases of my academic journey, and maybe it still continues so. So I'm dealing with this in an everyday manner, um, where I have looking back and seeing I have a structured syllabus. ये topic कर लो, इतने में से इतना ही आएगा, फिर यूपीएससी का सिलेबस देखो कि कहाँ से क्या आएगा कुछ नहीं पता, फिर ओपन लर्निंग में आ गए तो यू सी कि इसमें तो कुछ पता ही नहीं चल रहा है कि ढंग से करना कहाँ से है. So it seems little different, but seems little adventurous also. I am learning it. I am enjoying it, everyday process. With this, thank you everybody for kindly listening to me. Thank you so much.
All right. So thank you, Miss Mandira. As you said that it seems little different. Today's talk was actually little different because we usually heard talks based on facts, data, history, and all these certain factors. पर जो आज का talk था, it was uh, totally based on personal experience and whatever you have went through all your life since Shamlal College evening. So beyond, so it was like discipline and freedom beyond profession and position. आप किसी भी profession में हो, आप किसी भी position पे हो, you need these two terms in your life. All right, so we have some questions which I really would like to ask you. सबसे पहला तो यही है कि जब हम डिसिप्लिन और फ्रीडम की बात करते हैं तो अपने आप में दोनों ही शब्द एक जो ट्रेडिशनल नोशन है वो कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट करते हैं रादर देन कॉम्प्लीमेंट ईच अदर. दे रादर कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट ईच अदर रादर देन दे कॉम्प्लीमेंट ईच अदर. तो व्हाट आर दी सर्टेन वेज, वो क्या कुछ तरीके हैं जिन तरीकों को इस्तेमाल करके हम दोनों को थोड़ा सा, आई नो कंप्लीटली हम नहीं ओवरलैप कर सकते दोनों टर्म्स को, पर हम थोड़ा तो इन दोनों टर्म्स को कॉम्प्लीमेंट करके बताएं कि हाँ, डिसिप्लिन इज समथिंग व्हिच लीड्स यू टुवर्ड्स दैट वन पाथवे ऑफ फ्रीडम. व्हाट आर दोस सर्टेन वेज, इफ यू कैन एक्सप्लेन अ लिटिल बिट.
Okay, so first of all, think that I can't, like, this definitely not going to overlapping each other, because there has to be some kind of balance in both, between both the words freedom and discipline. They work on a different way. So for me, what I feel like freedom is like you have freedom to think. Thinking is the first thing that comes to my mind. You know what to do. You are not like bounded, or you are not roped with anything कि आपको सिर्फ यही करना है, ये करना है. आप enough in this part of life, I feel like we are enough mature to understand what is the right thing to do and what is not. And with that, discipline comes because आप सिर्फ फ्रीडम फ्रीडम करते रहोगे तो कि हाँ मैं तो ये करूंगा वो करूंगा, मुझे लगता है वहां पे कहीं ना कहीं आप अपने जो फ्रीडम का सेंस है आप उसे लूज कर दोगे. देयर शुड बी सम, लाइक इट वर्क्स लाइक दैट. पॉजिटिव लिबर्टी लिबर्टी होनी चाहिए, बट उसमें कुछ ना कुछ रोक टोक होना चाहिए ताकि वो लिबर्टी नेगेटिव लिबर्टी की तरह ना बढ़ जाए, काइंड ऑफ थिंग. सो आई थिंक measured, calculative होना चाहिए to balance between these words, to make your life little smoother.
All right, so when we say freedom, we should rather understand that freedom means not absolute freedom, it is
Yeah,
relative freedom. By
yes.
any that one string, you should remain attached with the reality as well of your life, so that you can also proceed under the aspects of discipline at the same time. All right, so next question which comes in my mind is that there are two kinds of discipline. One which is being imposed on us. आप जब स्कूल लेवल पे बता रहे थे तो वहां पर देर आर, एज यू सेड, कि रिपोर्ट कार्ड्स मिलते हैं, तो वो एक प्रेशर रहता है कि नहीं हमारा रिपोर्ट कार्ड मिलेगा एंड वी हैव टू गो फॉर A+ और ऑल दोज गुड ग्रेड्स. तो दैट इज द डिसिप्लिन विच कम्स फ्रॉम आउटसाइड, sort of imposed one. And there is a discipline which comes with experiences and which comes within from us. So which discipline is good and how we maintain the balance from both of them, क्योंकि जिंदगी के हर एक पड़ाव पे दोनों ही तरह के जो डिसिप्लिन हैं वो हमें मिलते ही हैं, तो किस तरह से बैलेंस बनाएं और किस तरह से दोनों ही डिसिप्लिन को लेकर हम अपने जीवन में और अपने एम के साथ आगे बढ़ें।
Okay, this is something I just while I was just little searching about what to write and not, I come up with that punitive discipline that I talked about in my talk earlier, and the progressive discipline, the punitive discipline which talks about the punishment, and I think like the school is more like that little punishment, and then कि उसमें आपको अगर आपने ये सही से नहीं किया दैट मीन्स यू आर नॉट डिसिप्लिन, अगर होमवर्क ढंग से नहीं किया तो यू आर नॉट डिसिप्लिन्ड इनफ, अगर ये मतलब even if you are not wearing a uniform properly in a corrective manner, then you are also indisciplined in that you are not listening to the teachers that you said. It's like imposing where controlled, and then how like another thing कि जो अपने आप से जो डिसिप्लिन एक होना चाहिए. For me, it's like there should be some kind of, I don't know, maybe I contradict or maybe I not absolutely right about it, but what I feel, there should be some kind of control discipline because that's needed for our development also, because every time अगर हम हर चीज को अगर पॉजिटिव तरीके से लेंगे तो शायद कहीं ना कहीं कुछ अगर जो limitations भी होंगे हमारे लाइफ में वो छूट जाएंगी. Possibly I can see this like when we are with our friends, they do not tend to tell you the wrong thing if you are doing like कि नहीं यार दोस्त है इसका गलत हो ही नहीं सकता या ये सब ठीक होगा. But I feel like there should be someone to surveillance the action की जो चल रहा है. So there should be a little kind of controlled. It's good to balance, I think. One should be there to control and one should be there to teach. This is not the way. I have experience too. You can go with this. There could be a option कि आप ऐसे नहीं तो ऐसे करो पर इस तरीके से नहीं करो. I hope.
All right. So yeah, that was pretty clear. Now, the one usual question जो हम अपने सारे ही स्पीकर से बोलते हैं, पूछते हैं, बट आपसे थोड़ा सा मैं डिटेल्स में जानना चाहूंगा, because you know you have witnessed a very big chunk of the journey of this initiative itself and of the journey of the history society itself. You were almost everywhere. You were in GCC. You were with webinar wala thing which we used to do, if you remember. You
Yeah,
were
yeah.
within the society also. You were with GSTS also. So what was your experience, if you can also correlate it with your today's topic also? So because your topic, you know, these two terms, discipline and freedom, also mimics somehow the journey of this initiative itself. So I really want a very detailed answer for this this particular question, please.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point. I should have added it to my talk earlier. Now I am adding it. When I said that that phase has changed from school to college and suddenly it's online everything, and then suddenly online से फिर से हम लोग offline mode में shift हुए थे. As far as I remember, every initiative of our regarding GCC or GSTS, it's all on online platform. And while the corona it's going on. And so जैसे earlier I was said कि this phase change क्योंकि school में I used to, it's more like कि she is a good student, she knows everything, she can participate. So when the competition comes up, I don't have to go by myself. It's more like कि वो बुला लेते हैं और मैं चली जाती हूँ और यही चला आ रहा था. बट जब ये सेंस मेरा तब भी काम किया था कि स्कूल में तो सब जानते हैं, व्हाट अबाउट कॉलेज, कॉलेज में जाके हाउ टू गेट योरसेल्फ की नोन किस तरीके से पता चले. और आई थिंक और फिर हैपन टू बी आई वाज सिलेक्टेड फॉर द सोसाइटी by Manish sir. Somehow I still don't know why, but it's fine. And I happen to be the part of this GSTS, JCC, Sakshya, such a beautiful phase of my life. If I would say, if I online में अगर मेरे से कुछ discipline breach हुई है तो यहाँ से मुझे positive discipline ने वापस खींचा भी है. Because I am not a tech savvy person. I used to be. I'm still not that tech savvy, but अगर मैंने कुछ सीखा है इस फेज में, जो नया जो एडेप्टिव चीज सीखी थी, दैट्स कंप्लीटली डिजिटल किस तरीके से काम करना है वो सीखा था. फ्रॉम मेकिंग वीडियोस टू पोस्टर्स टू लाइक एवरीथिंग इसमें से जो भी काम का था, मैगजीन बनाना भी सीख लिया, लिखने कैसे हैं सब बनाना इसी में से सीख लिया. तो इट्स बिकेम अ वेरी ब्यूटिफुल पार्ट ऑफ माई लाइफ to learn each and everything from this positive aspect also. Or being a part of GSTS, JCC, and Sakshya, yeah, that's magazine still with sir. Uh, it really commendable because आपके पास कॉलेज में यू गेट अ प्लेटफॉर्म कि आपके पास प्लेटफॉर्म सब जगह का खुला हुआ है. नाउ यू हैव टू इनकरेज योरसेल्फ और मोटिवेट योरसेल्फ टू आपको वहां पे जाना है. यू हैव टू डू इट बाय योरसेल्फ. कोई आपको वहां पे बुलाएगा नहीं या कराएगा नहीं. तो वी ऑल्सो विद दैट होप हमने भी एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म ओपन किया था फॉर द स्टूडेंट पर्पज कि कुछ अच्छा करेंगे, स्टूडेंट आएंगे यहाँ पे, अपना आइडियाज व्यूज देंगे जो. और ऐसा नहीं कि महीने में एक बार या साल में एक बार. वी डिसाइडेड विद कि एवरी वीक. एंड दिस इज आवर फर्स्ट थिंग कि अगर करेंगे तो इट विल कंटिन्यू और होगा. और ये हर हफ्ते होगा. एंड इट हैपेंड देयर एंड नाउ इट्स 274 टॉक. आई been also part of 42 talk. और इससे पहले भी I was the one who was like calling the guest of honor to invite them to this platform. सर हमारे इसमें ऐसा है, आपको आना है. Even to send the right like messages to all the students कि this happening. हम लोगों ने कुछ ऐसा initiative लिया है, please do come, do join. So all this part and now seeing this thing and again coming to this platform and working for it again, I gave a chance. It gave me a chance to speak again also. I'm very grateful and very beautiful experience. This is very emotional and personal thing. It couldn't be like मैं ऐसे words में इसको complete भी नहीं कर सकती और justifiable भी नहीं होगा किसी के लिए. Shailendra, he is my junior. How come like we have going through so through for like रात के 1 बजे भी बैठ के posters बनाए हैं हमने ऑनलाइन सेटअप के लिए. और सारा GSTS 100 जब हमने इसको ऑफलाइन किया था, वी आर स्टिल एडिटिंग, प्रिंटिंग, बाहर जा रहे हैं, यहाँ से पोस्टर बनवाना है, बैनर बनवाना है. तो इट्स लाइक वेरी ओन काइंड ऑफ थिंग. It's like this. If I said that school life is the best part of my life, then I would say this is the college ka this part is also a very good part of my life. Despite having some good experience and bad experience, this is the best thing to like have a in memory and to get along with.
Yeah, that was really great. So thank you. So nostalgic and so many memories I'm getting back in my mind. But in one word, I would say that the discipline, which is quite synonymous to the term continuity, we have showed in this initiative in History Society Saksha has made us all free. Free to
Yeah,
choose.
I just would like
Yeah,
to say this is the freedom that we, sir, and us, we all have that idea that we have to do something. Here's the freedom come with some controlled notion that we maintained our routines that every Sunday on 5 to 6, before this, every Wednesday, there would be pre-meet, there would be speakers. So this is how the freedom work along, like freedom works with discipline.
yeah, that was really nice. So thank you once again, Miss Mandira, for this wonderful depiction of your topic. And now I am once again, I would like to invite today's guest of honor, Dr. Ajay Pratap Singh, sir, for his final remarks, his thoughts, and his comments on this particular topic on this platform as well. Please, sir.
Thank you, Shailendra. Ah, I must congratulate Mandira. Let me tell you, when I was of your age, uh, I couldn't have mustered this much courage to come on a platform like this, and this also became possible because there's this platform, which I mean, you people only built, right? Of course, there was this guidance by Manish sir, right? But the efforts that you guys have put in, and like you rightly pointed out towards the end of your, speech. So I would like to reiterate that point, and I can now proudly say that you people are a reflection of that, fine balance between uh, discipline and freedom, right? You all are a reflection of that. Uh, And when I saw this theme, there were this when I got this message. So the theme to me sounded very complex, but how Mandira, very lucidly and succinctly, she used her own experiences, right, and was able to deliver that message so well. Thank you for that, and it's really commendable. And the UPSC journey, everyone, each one of us who comes from a lower middle class or middle class family have had their love and hate relationship with a UPSC thing, right? सब कोई उससे गुजरा है, कोई हारा है, जीता है. I mean, हारा तो कोई नहीं है. I mean, मैं अपने आप को हारा नहीं मानूंगा और शायद किसी को नहीं मानना चाहिए. But we've had our own, relations with UPSC. Mandira Mandira came up with a very oxymoronic term. She said that, freedom of discipline, right? Oh, wonderful. This reminds me of a concept called creative freedom, right? So when you talk about discipline, the term that often comes to our mind is structure, right? And structure need not necessarily be something that is bricks or mortar. It can be an idea, it can be an institution, it can be a law, rule, regulation. These are structures. And often, in political science, or since I'm an expert in not an expert, but a student of international relations, so a lot of structural theories are there, and structures are often assumed that they're given a very negative connotation, right? Something that binds you, something that constrains you, right? But Mandira said that, it's not necessary. It's not necessarily like that. And many of the scholars, the ones who spoke about creative freedom, they say that structures need not necessarily be constraining. They can be enablers. Enablers in the sense that they help human to realize their, topmost potential, right? So there, this idea crops up of creative freedom, and this tells us that, there has to be a strict balance between freedom and discipline, right? And I don't think so. Someone who is from JNU, who has spent 6 good years at JNU, 2 years of MPhil, 4 years of his PhD, and some of you who know JNU very well. So someone who has been an insider in JNU has often grappled with this issue. Freedom kitni honi chahiye and discipline kitna hona chahiye. And this thing has quizzed me, has irritated me. I got agitated myself as well, as to how to judge student and administration. Sometimes student went overboard, sometimes administration was too repressive. So I and a lot of my friends found it very difficult to draw that line. Where should I draw that line? Who should be blamed for it? Right? So this is something that has always disturbed me for a longest period of time. But I know I found some of the answers here, and Mandira gave some of the answers to that. Thank you, Mandira, for that. Right. So, at the end of the day, whenever there's a tussle between these two terms, so something that came to my mind, right? So if you go by the words of Rabindranath Tagore, right? So he uses these two terms, Swatantrata and Sanskriti, the cultured discipline, I would say. And he says that, if that Swatantrata is under the larger umbrella of this cultured discipline, then it's not constraining. It will help individual to, realize their full potential, right? Something of this sort about creative freedom, about autonomy, was also posited by Hannah Arendt. Since I teach political science, I teach IR. So I'll, of course, go back to such references. And she had a very interesting take on it. She said that, why is it that authoritarianism, right, is at its peak? So he asks the individuals, men, women, across genders, right? If you are not going to occupy the public spaces, if you're not going to come to these platforms, spaces, be it in educational institutions, parks, rallies or wherever, and if you're not going to express yourself there, then these spaces would be overpowered by, let's say, one individual, one system, one ideology, one thought process. So, I mean, in order to realize that freedom, or to realize that autonomy which we are talking about, uh, you have to come, you have to occupy those public spaces, you have to speak your mind, you have to negotiate. At the end of the day, the we can only settle the debate between freedom and discipline through negotiation. That's the only way forward, right? I mean, we cannot be confrontational with someone who has, let's say, opposite views, who has who comes from a different ideology, who comes from a different political party, right? We can be argumentative, but we cannot be conflictual, right? So at the end of the day, it's it's the negotiation, right? So whenever we enter into a debate, the goal shouldn't be to prove ourselves right, but when you exit out of that debate, you should ensure that you are better informed when you enter into the debate, right? That should be the ideal of that debate, right? Come to some of the Indian context, like uh, we have had Gurukul system, right? And whenever we speak of Gurukul system, one is reminded of the strict discipline, the strict structure of discipline that was there. But I cannot think of a better institution where one could find how, under the discipline, the creative freedom or creative system could be evolved, right? So you had strict discipline there, and there was certain time when you have to wake up, right? You have to perform your yoga and whatnot, the multiple things. There was strict time, but within that system, remember, uh, within that disciplined system, there was this profound intellectual and spiritual freedom, right? Uh, People, in fact, debated on metaphysics. You were allowed to question your teacher, tark, the idea of tark, right? That is logical argumentation. And there was this knowledge that was based on, your own natural inclination. You were allowed to do that. So, like you said, these two terms need not necessarily be uh, um, diametrically opposite. But after the Gurukul system, there was a whole Macaulay sort of education uh, that became highly problematic, and our educational institutions became the epitome of discipline, strict orders, strict rules, strict regulations, while brushing aside or brushing under the carpet the whole idea of creative freedom. Uh, I would believe that under the present regime, there has been an effort, though there's a lot of uncertainty with NEP as of now because it's just in its nascent phase. But when I look at it, there is some sort of freedom that is evolving, that is emanating within this larger NEP ecosystem, because now students have liberty to choose papers, right? You have lots of general elective, DSC, DSC, right? Uh, when I was doing my undergrad, I mean, that was unthinkable. Right? And you have a lot of autonomy. Uh, you know, Teachers have a lot of autonomy in terms of pedagogy and all those things, right? I remember, sir, I taught a course on peace and conflict studies, and that whole course was designed around political cartoons, right? So every lecture was through cartoons. So that sort of innovativeness, that sort of freedom within the larger structure. I was not violating any of the rules of the institutions. I was not even bypassing any of the syllabus, right? I was sticking to my time and all sorts of things I followed. But there was this creative freedom within that NEP architecture. So under NEP, there have been effort to provide freedom, right? I have had this opportunity to visit a variety of places, right? And at some of these places, uh, these innovativeness or realizing your creativeness is often very incentivizing. So my wife, she teaches in Taiwan. She is assistant professor there. So there, if you come up with a new pedagogy, and you claim that I have something interesting, some interesting way of teaching things, so you will get additional, let's say, 10,000 NTD per month. So that's how these people are incentivizing creativeness. And it's not like that they're not sticking to the idea of discipline, but they are incentivizing creativeness. And remember, if you come up with a gender sensitive courses, so i'm going I'm going again, I'll again refer to the experience of my wife, and she was teaching this gender and IA. So they're incentivizing her again for that, over and above your salary. And this is, these sort of things should be there. I mean, in an institution, suppose Delhi University, if as an institution we start incentivizing these creativeness, discipline is their larger structure of discipline. I'm not against that, right? But these structures should be such that instead of being constraining, they should enable creative freedom. And believe me, that would do wonders. That would do wonders to NEP, right? And creativeness, especially under this digital age, wherein you have all sorts of AI and all sorts of things, creativeness becomes all the more important, right? As to how you would judge, let's say, assignment, right? How I have, let's say, 200 students in my class, and it's not possible for me to run every assignment through a plagiarism or an AI software. So how do I judge that, right? I could recall one of the case that was published recently in a newspaper, that was of some professor from IIT Madras. So what he did was, he said that he in his assignment, he gave the freedom to the student to use AI. Jao, use karo. But give me the prompt that you are giving. So he judged them on the creativeness vis-a-vis that prompt that they were giving to that AI, whatever platform. So, these sort of creativity is needed, right? And as a student also, I have nothing against AI. It's there. I mean, we cannot simply bash it from morning to evening. We have to accept it, but be very creative with it as to how to use AI. What's the limitations? How to? I mean, there's this whole syllabus now on courses on prompt engineering. Imagine. So, how this whole system should be such that it ensures that we realize our full potential. Structures, I would again reiterate that, the structures can be enablers. That's up to the people who are responsible to maintain that system, to run that system, right? How they see it. Because we have had, I mean, forget about Gurukul. There are recent examples as well. All of us must have heard of Shanti Niketan. Wonderful place to visit, must go place, right? Some of the best, of course, it was Tagore's idea, his conceptualization, but a lot of philosophers, a lot of writers from Hindi literature, English literature, they spent good years in Shanti Niketan and gave some wonderful theories, wrote some wonderful stories, right? So that's the best, one of the best models, wherein Tagore, he himself claimed that we need to reject this prison-like school models and embrace nature, embrace art, freedom of expression, while maintaining rhythm and responsibility. And he said that discipline, discipline is not, it's a civilizational responsibility. As a civilization, it's not individual responsibility, simply it's a civilizational responsibility to have an idea of discipline, wherein, like you said, that discipline should not, if you understand discipline well, then that discipline will emanate from yourself. It should be organic. it should emanate from yourself, right? And so you don't need someone, some structure, some institution to tell you that, this is how you should do it. It should emanate from you. And that's what creative freedom is. Creative freedom will only come when you realize your own discipline. It has to be organic. It has to come from within, right? So, you know, uh, another idea that comes to my mind is Gandhian idea of Nai Talim, right? Wonderful idea. And I think there are reference of Nai Talim in our national education policy as well, right? So he insisted on the discipline of productive manual work alongside intellectual and moral freedom. Wonderful idea. And there are multiple times you will find reference to this in the national education policy. He there's this famous statement of him wherein he says that a child who spins khadi learns both the dignity of labor, that is discipline, and economic self-reliance, that is freedom. So what a fine concept, right? I mean, वही कहते हैं ना, ऐसे गागर में सागर भर देना, ये दो लाइन बोल दिया and mic drop moment, right? So it's a mic drop moment, right? Uh, Again, so today the problem is more acute. Like I just said, it's a digital technology. It offers unprecedented freedom, but threatens the discipline of attention. Social media gives voices, but often, it ends up destroying depth. In fact, in our family system, in Indian families, we see the swing from authoritarian parenting to permissive overindulgence, and both extremes are harming the development. So at the end of the day, what we require is a responsive structure, not a constraining one, a responsive structure, rules that are clear, consistent, and developmentally appropriate, but open to dialogue, revision. As we all grow, we all mature, and so should be the structures, so should be the idea of discipline, right? This is the real magic of the idea of negotiated discipline, right? So I think, one can go on to speak for another half an hour on this. It's a very open-ended thing, right? But I think I shall end here, right? I hope I made sense because I dealt into a lot of references here and there. But thank you once again for patiently listening. Thank you to the whole GSTS community, right? You guys are phenomenal. And I see those who have been behind those conceptualization as a speaker today. And that shows how far this initiative has traveled. मैं सर जब देख रहा था, मेरे को एक आइडिया क्या है, तो बहुत कॉमन सेंसिकल सी चीज है कि मैं जैसे बाहर जाता हूँ तो देयर लॉट ऑफ समर स्कूल्स, विंटर स्कूल्स, वो आइडिया कहीं ना कहीं अपने यहाँ दिल्ली में थोड़ा मिसिंग है। और मैं इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे इसलिए कह रहा हूँ क्योंकि वो कर भी सिर्फ एक ही व्यक्ति सकता है, ठीक है? वो सच में, whenever you visit his office, उनके दिमाग में there's something cooking in his office. There has to be some book, some idea, some talk. मतलब that space is always, वो जो क्या कहूँ, अगर वो 6x8 का स्पेस होगा, that space is always making sense, right? हर एक अच्छी सी आपको मिठाई मिलेगी with a glass of water and maybe that will be followed by a good coffee, and then you have to make sense if you are in the room. So, and ये कर भी सिर्फ मनीष सर ही सकते हैं. So, because ऐसा हो सकता है ना कि हम लोग 40-50 बच्चों को एक रेजिडेंशियल टाइप का प्रोग्राम, and with so many contacts that Manish sir has, it's very easy for him to bring in fancy speakers from all walks of life, right? Or residential program, minimal fee. वैसे सर के contacts इतने, he will be able to procure funding as well, I believe. So we can have a wonderful program of that sort. एक जगह सारे alumni जो इससे associated हैं GSTS से, a wonderful gathering, right? Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, GSTS community. It's an honor.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words. And when I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing. I'm just laughing when you said ना कि ये सिर्फ सर ही कर सकते हैं. When you were talking about the chamber of sir, I was just remembering that people, we do appreciate that mithai and all those things, but I was just imagining that how much discipline must have been went, to create such kind of chamber with full of freedom that you can sit there, you can study there, you can even use the technology, the printer, the Wi-Fi, and so on and so forth. So and as well with this, I was also remembering some of the jokes we have had within the chamber. So again, once again, back to the session. Thank you so much, sir, first of all, for accepting our invitation and joining us and sharing such insightful thoughts with us, connecting it with different aspects of education and further integrating it with the certain references from Gandhi to Rabindranath Tagore. When you were talking about Rabindranath Tagore, I was remembering Nambarji, who gave us, in Hindi literature, gave the concept of Sapeksha Swatantrata. So, anyways, thank you so much. Already हम काफी late हो चुके हैं. So, without any delay, I would like to straight invite our next speaker, Miss Shiva Tiwari, and she would be speaking on next Sunday on the topic Beyond the Ghats, exploring the soul of Banaras through its alleys, food, and people. I would like to invite her for the elaboration of her objectives.
Am I audible
Yes,
and
yes.
visible also? I think. Uh, Thank you so much, Mr. Shalendra, for giving me this opportunity. And now I would like to start by congratulating Miss Mandira Paul for giving such a wonderful talk on such a basic and understandable topic. Also, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude for today's guest of honor, Ajay sir, for giving us such a beautiful insight for this talk and the topic. Now, good evening, everyone. Myself, Shiva Tiwari. I have completed my graduation from Shamlal College Evening, and from there only, I was connected with this wonderful platform that is Graduate Scholar Talk Series. And after that, I have completed my post graduation from Jamia Millia Islamia from on mass communication and journalism. So, on upcoming Sunday, I will be the next speaker, and my topic and their objectives will be Beyond the Ghats, exploring the soul of Banaras through its streets, food, and people, in which my objectives will be to explore the daily life and history inside the narrow lanes of Banaras. Second, hidden stories of different communities living in the city. Third, traditional work and crafts of the local people. And the fourth, unique lifestyle and culture. And with this, I would like to invite you all for upcoming Sunday, a Sunday with another reconnection, another thoughtful topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Shiva. That is really another wonderful topic, and we'll surely join you on next Sunday after the GSTS Reconnection 83. All right, so now we are really out of time today, but that was all worth it for the sort of discussion we have had went through. And at this juncture, I am pleased to hand over the moderation and screen to Dr. Manish Karmar for his concluding remarks and for formal wrap-up of the program.
Thank you, Salend. It's really interesting to chill up with my old students. Right now, there are so many old students. The number are less, but so many old students are there. Uh, so, oh, I have to say so many things because these are the very philosophical topics. But I won't. Why? Because the only one thing is in my life, not so much philosophy. I woke up after 2 o'clock, then philosophy, I think was into me. And before two, it's not only us. So action gives you now 75, 80
Uh,
years.
Sir, your आपकी आवाज कट रही है, so I think आप headset.
Okay. This is the
Okay. So now it's clear? हमारी
now
आवाज?
now it's yes sir, now it's
Okay,
clear.
maybe as sometimes it's not happened so many times, but this is the first few times that is going on. So what is more important after so many years we involved, because we had civilizational journey, India and Africa. So now this time to work. So every young scholar till 30, don't think more philosophy, action is needed. Because one thing is very important, that your history is written. If you want to, history is written without your, with your absence. So you do not part of that writing in history. That means what? Likewise, if you do not go to the marketplace surrounded by the Swiggy people. So what just our guest of honor has reiterated the same thing, one system. That means everybody create at least one system to change old one, not old one, bad one. This is my idea for life. If everyone, only every people get one idea, and that idea, impactful idea that can change so many things. Because I'm compiling so many ideas now in my brain, so many ideas going on. So it's very difficult to, in 1 or 2 minutes, I'm not going to give you a certain idea. But it's good that discipline and freedom both are important, and Mandira and our guest of honor both are gives us a very wonderful idea how to balance. And one balance example is GSTS, because it's not only my creation, it's our creation. So it's a always with the discipline and the freedom. Everybody has freedom, and but are disciplined, as Mandira already told us about this thing. Thank you, Mandira, and thank you, Dr. Ajay, for giving us a wonderful idea. And Salendra, always listening to you wonder, it's a really smooth feeling. And Mandira, you see the growth of Salendra from Salendra 42 to Salendra 274. So it's a mutual how he managed himself. It's a really amicable. So you see the discipline and dedication, it's the most important thing. And my idea, it's time to recollect, it's time to do something. मैं उन लोगों को बोलता हूं जो अपने को कैपेबल मानते हैं और सोचते हैं कि कुछ नहीं हुआ इस देश में. So it's your fault. देश नहीं आएगा, आपको चेंज करना है. So everybody has one idea, so change one that idea. So thank you all. And today is the really wonderful day for everyone. Let's see in the 275th, it's a changing movement. Siva is going to give us a very important idea about the Banaras and the Ghats. And I advise Siva, kindly pick only Ghats, because Banaras is a huge, just like a huge city and huge idea. So you pick only the Ghats and gives us a wonderful idea about the Ghats. And thank you very much, Mandira. Thank you very much, Dr. Ajay. Thank you very much, Salend, and all the participants. And I'm really thanks for the Samuel Evening College principal, faculty members, teacher in charge, and IQAC that given us a chance and give this platform to be carry forward our thoughts. And next Sunday, and all the listeners, and next Sunday we'll meet with the next idea, with the so important idea, Ghats, and the idea of thinking or the thoughts. So thank you very much, Mandira. It's beautiful. And Dr. Ajay, it's a really fantastic that you have idea that the summer is school. But one thing last, because it's 1809, so 1810, only 30 seconds. It's very important, but because I contacted with the first restaurant also and ambassadors also. So, but the one thing is very important, how we connect both. It's a very important. What the first restaurant thinking and what our ambassadors are thinking, it's a very difficult to cater and come on the one platform. So my idea, likewise, grounded report, go to the higher authority. This is I want as a medium, because I love to connect to everyone. So thank you very much. Have a nice day. We'll meet next Sunday, same time, 5 to 6 p.m. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you, Ajay. Thank you.
sir.
And
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much, sir.
for the last 3 And the last 3 years, I was doing the same coffee talk, and let's continue this tradition in my chamber. And really, it's a beautiful that people come, and I have time to discuss with you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.